Hi there. Welcome to my Springans deck profile. This is my first time ever really making a video on anything like this, so this is going to be a little rough. It's going to be a bit of a ramble from me from here and there, but I'll try to make it as clear and as informative as I can for anybody that's interested. But we'll go ahead and just kind of get right into the deck itself. You'll see that I'm kind of running a Frame Gear package for this deck, and it kind of focuses a little bit on that, as well as Utopic Draco Future for the end board. There are a lot of other variants out there for Springans. There's the Time Thief variant, as well as one that runs Auroradon. Actually, I think both of those do, but I kind of decided to go for this. I feel like it has a little bit more route variance, and it can kind of end on more varied boards, even through some disruption that I felt like I couldn't get with the other one. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but I just feel like it has a little bit more options, but it does kind of sacrifice overall stronger end board as a result. But anyway, I'll just kind of quickly go through each of the cards. I hope that everybody understands what each one of the cards does, so I won't really go into too much of that, but I'll try to explain some of my numbers here. I have Frame Gear Driver. I have 2 Max Cs. I'm only running 2 because I needed to make room and I kind of rely on it less. By all means, run 3 for this. Don't make my mistakes. But I try not to rely too heavily on it nowadays. I just don't feel like it. 2 Frame Gear Gammas, 3 Ash Blossoms, 3 Rockey. You're always almost going to see 3 Rockey for any Springans deck. He's kind of the main Springans card. 1 Pador. I run Pador just for an extra name. He doesn't really have any extra utility other than just being able to attach himself as a different name to any of the Springans Xyz monsters. Nothing special, just have him here. Plus it's nice to see machines in your hand for Springans kit. I have 3 Springans brothers. I have 3 instead of 2 just for the long game. Sometimes I can send 2 brothers turn 1, and going into turn 3 I can't send another one to bring back more bodies on board, so that's why I have 3 here. 2 kit. You generally are only going to see 2 after turn 1. You don't really need kit anymore. It is kind of nice to have a 3rd one just to see her more, because she can actually facilitate her own combos for a decent end board, even without the field spell, or any way to get it for that matter. So she's a really good card. I sometimes play her at 3, maybe knock out Regulus or something along those lines. She's good, but right now I'm only running her at 2. Artifact Scythe, Scythe Lock, self-explanatory. 2 Bronga. Again, I have the 2nd one for the long game. He's strictly just to get us spells. 1 Captain Sargus. And then 2 Regulus. I have 2 Regulus just in case I need to dump him, because there are times where you need to dump him on branded in high spirits. And then I can get another Regulus later on who can get himself 3500 attack and doesn't off himself when he Omni negates, so it's kind of decent to have 2 at least. You don't really need it, you can run him at 1. This is just my preference. 3 Springans Watch. This is your Rhoda plus Foolish Burial for the deck. Really strong, only works with the field spell active. And then 3 of this field spell. This is pretty much what gives you all of your plays. Really strong. 3 Springans Booties. This is just another 3 copies of the field spell. Don't really worry about the other effect. It's nice to have, but most of the time it's only used for an extra copy of a field spell. 2 Called Bys, 1 Crossout Designator. Brandon in High Spirits, this is for the kit package. And to get Sprint into the graveyard, just to grab Sargus. And then we have 3 Tally-Ho Springans. This card is insane. I don't need to explain why we have 3 of it in the deck. And then lastly, we have Springans Blast. This card is only on board if you have a Springans monster. It does not include Gigantic Champion Sargus. If you have Springans Blast with just Champion Sargus out on the board, it will not work. So keep that in mind. If you ever want to go for Springans Blast, you have to make sure that you have Springans Captain Sargus on board, or else it's not worth it. You might as well focus on some other combo. For the extra deck, we have 1 Sprint, we have the Utopic Future package, we have Abyss Dweller, Time Thief Redoer. Time Thief Redoer I wouldn't have if I didn't run this Psy-Frame Gear package, so that's entirely what he's here for, just to get Lambda's effect to search Gamma. You don't need to do this if you already have a Gamma in hand, obviously, but that's why he's here. Golganda Magician, he's here to facilitate a Utopic Draco feature in some lines. He's not entirely needed, but he is nice for some optional combos that you can't do otherwise. You're really only gonna use him in situations where you have a lot of 4s on board, or if you're doing the kit line, and I'll show that later. 2 Merrymaker, 1 Explorer, 2 Sargus, 1 Zeus, Cleafort Genius, Psy-Frame Lord Lambda, and then Artifact Dagda. Okay, now we'll kind of close this off and we'll get into some combos. Alright, so we're going to start this off with the first combo, and we're going to show you what you can do if you happen to open up Springans kit with any of your Springans machine monsters. So yeah, we go ahead and start off with Springans kit, which activates its effect to grab Brandon and High Spirits. And this also works if you happen to open up both kits, but we're going to go ahead and send the kit back to the deck just to make this work. You activate Brandon and High Spirits. This is going to send Rockey to the grave, that machine monster that you needed to send Sprint, to grab the other kit to your hand. Springans kit specials itself to go into Merrymaker. Merrymaker is then going to send Rockey to the grave. No, I apologize. We send Bronga to the grave here. Because we sent Rockey, we could send Brothers to bring him back, but we want to send Bronga here so that we can use his effect to grab Tally-Ho. With that non-specific Springans monster. And then we go into Gigantic Champion Sargus. Champion Sargus is then going to grab us Regulus. And then at this point, we have a... Well, yeah, so at this point, we first go into Tally-Ho Springans. Detach all 3 of these guys. And then we can grab, we can really grab any of our Springans monsters. It doesn't really matter which ones we grab. It's probably best to kind of go Rockey here in any case, just to be able to have more fuel for turn 3. So we go ahead and special summon out the Merrymaker, Kit, and the Rockey at this point. And the reason we do it this way is just so that we can grab the other kit off of Rockey's effect just for turn 3. Then we are going to go into... you can really go into any rank 4 that you want here for it, but Golganda Magician is kind of here just for Utopic Draco features, so you should always use it for that. We go into our Utopic Draco feature. And then we can get Regulus out with one of those machines. You don't want to grab it with Sprint. Sprint's effect is going to give us Sargus, so make sure you're not doing it that way. And then we end turn, but at this point we have 3 extra cards in our hand, which could have been anything. And then, yeah, so we end the board after activating Sprint's effect to grab Sargus with a pop and a bounce all in one, an Omni negate, a monster negate that also steals if they happen to be on the board already, and another pop actually. So there's 4 disruption on board off of something that generally isn't a great starting hand, so yeah, it's still has some potential if you happen to just open up Springans kit with another monster. Okay, so for this next combo, I want to show you what you are able to do if you happen to pull the field spell with any non-specific Springans monster in hand. And this combo route can deviate pretty greatly to give you some different boards depending on what you're feeling like doing. And I'll kind of either explain that or I'll kind of show both deviations in the same line real quick. So we activate the field spell, and the field spell is going to send that non-specific Springans monster for this specific scenario. We'll say we just opened up kit, so we'll send that. And this gives us Merrymaker. Merrymaker at this point is then going to send that non-specific Springans monster that isn't kit at this point. So if we happen to send the Springans monster to the grave like Bronga, Brothers, or Pidor for Golganda's effect, then we're going to want to send kit with Merrymaker. But because we sent kit, we can send any other Springans monster at this point. So we'll just send like Brothers. It doesn't really matter. We don't want to use his effect here. We do, however, want to use his effect to attach himself to Merrymaker. And this is going to take us into Champion Sargus. Again, Champion Sargus activates his effect, and then we're going to grab Tally-Ho. Tally-Ho. Detach 2. And then at this point we grab Bronga. And if the card that we had to send off of Golganda was Bronga, we're going to need to still grab Bronga here for later. Well, I actually, we don't. I take that back. Just forget I said that. So now we are going to summon these 2. It is going to grab us Branded in High Spirits. And then we can return whatever back to the deck. It doesn't really matter. Just as long as you don't send back the Bronga that we grabbed from earlier. So at this point, we're going to use Branded in High Spirits to send the Bronga with the Sprint to the graveyard to grab our other kit. We special kit. And then this is where the combo can deviate pretty specifically. So what you're able to do is either go into Scythe Lock with Utopic Draco feature plus both Sarguses, or you can try to go Lambda plus Time Thief. I'm pretty sure that's all you can get after that. With Lambda plus time. Yeah, it would just be lambda plus time thief at that point. But I'll probably show both of those. Anyway, so at this point we grab we use Bronga's effect to send himself with the Merrymaker to grab us Springans Watch. Now this is gonna look a little weird, but at this point we want to use the other Springans Merrymaker as material to summon out Dagda. And then we're gonna activate Springans Watch, activate Dagda, Scythe Lock, and then we are going to add Rockey to our hand, and then we're going to send Brothers to the graveyard. I apologize for all the rambling on this. Rockey is going to bring, or Brothers is going to bring back Kit, and then we're going to summon Rockey. Use Rockey's effect to just grab Brothers or Kit. Just something for going into turn 3. You have more material. And then we're gonna activate Gaga, or grab the Gaga Magician. And the reason that we had to use Merrymaker as material for Dagda is because then we can use this effect to grab it from the graveyard. And we need to do this for Utopic Draco Future. And at this point, we can use Sargas's effect to finally spin back the field spell, just to protect it. Now we go into Utopic Draco Future. And then we can end our turn. And at this point, we have 2 extra cards plus the Brothers and Gold Golganda that we added back to our hand. And then when we end phase, we use Sprint as always to grab Sargas. Okay, so I wanted to show you the other option for that same starting hand if you wanted to just end on Lambda. Plus a Time Thief. So at this point, we're gonna go into Lambda with 2 of the monsters that we have on board, and the combo is the same up until this point. Just so you're aware, nothing has changed. But yeah, so we go into Lambda, we activate Springans Watch, and then we're going to add Rockey to the hand. And then we're gonna send Brothers to the grave. And then we can use Brothers' effect to bring back whatever. It doesn't really matter at this point, but we'll just go ahead and grab Fedor. And then we go into Time Thief. And then we're going to activate Time Thief's effect. Detach whatever. Activate Lambda's effect. Activate Sargas's effect to spin back the field spell at this point. And then this is where we end our turn. So we didn't end up using our normal summon here, which is fine. We don't really get anything off of it. But at this point, we're going to have 2 extra cards again, plus the 2 cards we have we brought back into our hand. And then we end our turn. We have a few effects to resolve here. Sprint is going to grab us Sargas. Lambda is going to grab us a Psyframe Gear Gamma. And then Time Thief is going to bring himself back. And then on our opponent's turn, we use Redoer's effect to grab a card. And then so some of the reasons why you might want to go this line instead of the Scythe Lock line is it's kind of just simpler to play with. I think, you know, you have the possibility of all the different effects that Time Thief Redoer gets to use. But unfortunately, we don't really get to use his effects if we want to use both pops. It really depends. You have like options here, but we have the pop and bounce, a pop, and then a monster negate with gamma, and then whatever Redoer is able to pull off here. Yeah, it's not entirely the best board, but it is a little bit less I think bricky. Sometimes Scythe can get you into trouble if they have like a called by with the other board, and then you've already wasted so many resources to get it going, so it really depends on what you're feeling at that point. Okay, this next combo, I want to show off what you can do if you get the field spell, plus any extra Springans spell. So let's say you have the field spell plus Tally Ho or the field spell plus Booty. This is what you can do, even if that's all you have, which doesn't seem like much, but you can still get at least 3 disruptions on board. So we activate Golganda to send our spell, and then Merrymaker. Merrymaker is then going to send Rockey, and then Rockey is going to attach himself to Merrymaker. And then we go into Sargus, as usual. And again, we're just pretending that these 3 cards are blank for this combo. At this point, we're going to activate Sargus's effect to grab Tally Ho. Tally Ho effect. Detach 2. And then we are going to add our Branga to hand. And then special summon out that Rockey and the Branga that you added to your hand. Don't want to use Rockey's effect here. Now we use those 2 materials on board to grab Lambda. And then Branga effect engrave to send Merrymaker to grab a Springans Watch. Springans Watch is gonna grab Kit to our hand. And then we're gonna send Brothers to the grave. Brothers engrave to bring back Rockey. Rockey is now going to spring back Brothers. And then we're gonna normal summon Kit. Kit effect. Grab Branded and High. We'll just return you. And then Branded and High is gonna use the Brothers that we spun back as a target. Send Sprint. And at this point, it really depends on what you want to do. You could send Brothers here with Branded and High Spirits, and then grab the special summon Kit. It doesn't get you anything, unfortunately, but I just won't. I'll just say no for this, for whatever. So at this point, we go into Time Thief Redoer. And then Time Thief Redoer, active. Detach sends himself, which gets to trigger Lambda and Sargus to spin back the field spell. And then we end our turn. So again, this is like the last combo. It ends on 3 disruptions plus 2 extra cards in hand. So we spun back Brothers and Golganda, but these 2 cards could be anything. They're blank for the sake of this combo line. End our turn. Again, we have a lot of effects to activate. We grab Sargus off a sprint. Lambda is going to give us a Gamma. And then Redoer is going to bring himself back. So, like last time, we have a pop plus a bounce, and then a monster negate that also destroys the monster. Not the best, but also not terrible. It's something off of a not so great hand. Yeah. Let's go ahead and get into the next one. Right, okay. Next combo. So we're gonna go ahead and show off field spell plus Rockey. Field spell activates and sends Rockey. And this is kind of one of the ideal boards that you want to try to see when you open up your hand. It's a really good way to, or a really good hand to see, really. So, this is gonna seem a little weird, but we're gonna go ahead and go into Merrymaker and then send Bronga. And then at this point, we're gonna attach Rockey to Merrymaker, but keep Bronga in the grave. We go into Sargus. Sargus activate. And Sargus, instead of grabbing Tally-Ho, is going to grab a Springans Watch. Springans Watch is then going to send... sorry, it's going to add a Rockey to our hand. And then we're going to send a Brothers to the graveyard. Brothers activate is going to grab Bronga onto the field. And then we normal summon Rockey to grab Brothers back to our hand. Then we're going to go into Cleafort Genius now. And once we do that, we're going to use Bronga to send off himself and Rockey to grab Tally-Ho. Tally-Ho. Detach 2 from Sargus. And then we add Kit to hand. Kit and the Rockey in grave are going to special summon themselves. Which activates Cleafort Genius. Gonna activate Kit. And then we activate Sargus to spin back Golganda. Nope. Branded in High Spirits. And then we're just gonna go ahead and return the Kit back to the deck. Now we grab Regulus. And then at this point, we're going to go into Artifact Dagda. Once we got Dagda on board, then we can go into Branded in High Spirits, which activates Dagda's effect to set Artifact Scythe onto the board. This is gonna target the brothers that we brought back to our hand with Rockey to send Sprind, and then we do want to send Rockey to the graveyard to grab Kit. Kit is gonna special summon. And then we rank up into Abyss Dweller. Now, we go ahead and use Regulus's effect to target the Cleafort Genius. Probably this the best target here. Never want to grab Sprind with Regulus, unfortunately. And now, once we've done all that, we can end our turn and then activate Sprint to grab Captain Sargus onto the field. And now we have a pretty decent board. We have Graveyard Denial with that. It's also an Xyz monster with 2 material. So we can use it for our Sargus. Ideally, what you're going to do here, turn 2, is immediately activate Abyss Dweller. Also, I should mention that Or I'll just go over what we have in review before I go into that. Sorry about that. So we have Scythe Lock, we have a pop and a bounce, we have an Omni Negate, we have Graveyard Denial, and then we have 2 extra cards left in our hand that could be anything. Alright, so for this last combo, I wanted to show what you can do if you happen to open up the field spell plus Springans Watch. So the first thing we do is once we get the field spell online, we're going to immediately go into Springans Watch. Springans Watch is going to add us Kit to our hand, and then we're going to send Rockey to the grave. We activate Golganda to send Kit to the graveyard, and then we're going to grab a Merrymaker. Which then Merrymaker is going to send our brothers. We activate brothers to grab back Rockey. And then Rockey is going to give us back brothers. We normal summon brothers, and then we go into Cleafort Genius. We're going to activate both of the Springans in grave. To attach themselves to Merrymaker. And then we go into Champion Sargus. Once we've done that, we're going to activate Champion Sargus to grab Tally Ho. Tally Ho. Detach 3 from Champion Sargus. And then we're going to add Baranga to our hand. So at this point, we're going to special summon Kit, Rockey, and brothers. Now we activate Genius, activate Kit, and activate Sargus. We spin back the field spell. Kit is going to grab us Brandon High. Send back whatever. We'll just send it back as Tally Ho. And then we grab Regulus. And then at this point, we're going to activate Brandon and High Spirits to target our Baranga that we added to hand, send Sprind and Baranga. Then we grab Kit. And then we special summon Kit. Now that we've got that, we're going to go into another Merrymaker. This might seem a little odd, but we kind of have to be able to get Gaga Magician's effect to activate. You could go into something like Abyss Dweller if you wanted, but I kind of prefer this. It gives me more kind of negates on board interactions instead of just trying to negate or deny their graveyard and then hope for the best. So we go into a Merrymaker here, and then we're going to use those two to link off into Dagda. Seems odd, but unfortunately the other Merrymaker in graveyard, it doesn't register as a monster for Gaga to target. So now we go into Magician, tired of saying his name, and then we activate his effect. Detach Rockey, what doesn't really matter, to bring back the actual Merrymaker that we made. And then we activate Dagda's effect. We set Scythe on board. Bring back Merrymaker, and then we can go into Utopic Draco Future. Now that we have that, we can go into Regulus. And you can go into Regulus earlier. Maybe you feel like your opponent has some sort of interaction that you want to stop with him. That's totally valid. But yeah, so now at this point we can activate Bronga in the grave to send the fake Merrymaker. Kind of a dead card at this point, so you might as well send it. And then we get to add our Springans Blast to our hand. So now just to review, well actually let me go ahead and do this real quick. Use Sprin's effect in the end phase to special summon Captain Sargus. And then now we can kind of review what we have. We have a Scythe Lock. We have a Monster Negate. It's basically a Springans Imperm that requires to have this Sargus on board to be able to be used. We have a Monster Negate that also steals the monster. We have an Omni Negate, and then we have a Pop and a Bounce, and then we also have 2 extra cards in hand. So you can see how that starting hand is pretty great. It's my preferred hand to see, obviously. But yeah, Springans are able to pull some really powerful boards depending on the deck that you built for them. They're a little bricky. They require a lot of 2-card combos, 1.5 card combos, 3-card combos in some instance with Branded and High Spirits, if you only happen to draw that and no other good starters. But yeah, it has some versatility if you kind of think things through. Hopefully these combos kind of give you a better idea of how to navigate the deck. Obviously there's a lot of way more potential as far as what this deck can offer once you learn what each of the cards does, and depending on how much gas in your hand you have, you can really pull off a lot of stuff. Yeah, I apologize for the length of the video and kind of how ranty and rambling this ended up getting to be, as I've not really done anything like this before. But hopefully you like it. Hopefully this gets you interested in Springans, and hope you guys have a good one. Thanks for watching.